So, Brandon, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Braveheart.
Braveheart?
Yeah.
No.
So my life is nothing like that. If you were to look into kind of how if I could if I was to sum up my life in a short poem, there would there's not the when we look around and we see we see people like Gandhi and Adam Sandler. There's a big nobody. I'm not saying this in a bad way. I just think that the landscaping, especially at our school, could be a little better. And that's not even me as a person. I don't. And I don't listen. If me and you, if you were to come in, if you were to come in someday, and it doesn't.
No, let me ask you this.
Sure.
What did you want to be when growing up versus like where you are at right now?
Right. So I actually never knew my great grandfather because he was like way dead before I ever met him. And it's not that. Look, we can sit here, we can talk about roosters, we can talk about all these old people that are taking ecstasy now. I don't know if you know, but that's a thing. And there's not one person who could come up to me and say, "Oh yeah, I got my grape sack yesterday." Nobody has that. If there's one person, like, okay, for example, if you were to take World War II, Johnny Depp, and maybe even I'd say like at least baby spinach, put them all in the same room.
So, what's your earliest memory?
Right. So, every day I think about, when am I going to die? Right? And I'm not much, listen, call me, fine. Call me a vegan, but I use umbrellas. Well, you got to use them when it rains. I mean, at the end of the day, whether you're using teeth whitener, whether you're putting on your skinny jeans, Martha Stewart is still the president, and that's nobody could say that that's not true.
Oh, Obama's actually the president.
Right. So I mean that's and that you can say that, but one could argue why is it if me and you were to go on the street right now, can you imagine how many have you if there was it's just I feel like I don't know as who I am shouldn't it's not you're not we're not you're not you okay so we
What about your earliest childhood memory? You get to that part.
Oh, well, I'm getting there. All right, this is all the build up to the childhood story. So I forget where I was, but oh yeah, but who, why? Look. If there's one thing that gets me going through the day, I look up, I look down, I look to my right, I look to my left, and there's shit everywhere. And, if you can't, listen, you can't come in here and say, oh yeah, my dad is Jesus Christ, because there's so much potential in these kids. Have you seen, they just carry the carrots around for days. And they don't even wear jackets when they're doing it. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah. What do you gotta say for the children out there?
Right. So listen, we're all gonna die, and that's a very I think it's every kid has to learn that. But when we're looking at, especially kind of what we've been talking about, throughout this whole thing, when we're looking at not only sweatpants, but I just think Wyoming as a state is becoming it's a little bit aggressive, and so what I want to say to all the people who think I can never be a janitor, I can never be a plumber. Listen, you're just there's music. If I don't know if you've listened to music in the past, but I mean, it comes in and you could see that all the rocks are there, and it just makes the ground all bumpy and the sky becomes green, and you don't know who your mother is. So that's kind of just my 2 cents with everything. I know it's a lot to take in, but I hope my message was very, very clear. Basically, at the end of the day, when you have this much toothpaste, who's gonna be smashing your mirrors?
All right, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in.
No worries.
See you later.
Of course.
Cut. Holy fucking shit.
How the fuck do you do that?
Fucking melted my brain.
I don't know. Dude, what?
How do you do that?
What just happened?